Good afternoon, CABC family. How's it going? Just coming to you for a short show here after this Citadel game. I know it seems like the game didn't go exactly at the beginning the way Bama fans would have liked, but all in all, they pulled together and they had a pretty good performance there in the second half. And just a quick rundown of some stat lines. How's it going, Toomer? Good to see you in here.
What up, Toomer?
Oh yeah, by the way, I got John with me. John's traveling, so he was at the Hewitt Thompson playoff game last night. And the final stats were 340 in the air for Tua, 3 touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. And the running backs, Damian had 83, Najee had 51, Tua had 37 and a touchdown, and then Brian Robinson had the other touchdown. Ronnie Clark got some carries. They were spreading the ball around. I said that Brian Robinson will get some touches on our show on Wednesday, and he did. He got a couple carries, scored a touchdown there late in the game. Tua looked a lot healthier than he has been so far. Without no knee brace, no nothing. Looked pretty good. And so we
that poor Twitter account, man.
Tua's knee brace, man.
What a great Twitter account. Terrible timing.
I know, right? If that would have been like 2 weeks ago, that thing would have been blowing up right now. So, well, it'd be done by now, but it would have blown up a lot faster. So DJ asked what we thought about the slow start. Like we said on Wednesday, man, it was a ball control offense. I mean, they burned 8 minutes on their first drive, so obviously the ball control with the offense was going to be a big thing for Citadel, and they definitely did. They controlled the ball. They controlled the ball a majority of the first half as well. I think that was a lot of the issue was Alabama couldn't get on the field to score points.
Yeah.
Because Citadel kept them off the field, which was obviously Citadel's game plan going into it. And I felt like they had a good game plan. Keep the ball out of Tua's hands, strip everything on defense. They should have had at least 2 fumbles recovered, but Alabama got one of them back.
Yeah, that's par for the course. You have to maximize every drive against a team like that. You just simply don't get the same number of possessions you would normally get. So every time the Citadel gets another first down, you're just cutting down on time that Alabama could have had the football. And obviously, Citadel, they got the ball first, so they were able to take a chunk of time off. They didn't score, but they took a chunk of time off there at the beginning and really set the tone, I think, for the whole, 2.5 quarters that they were about to play. Those guys were fired up. Team can level the playing field at times, but over a 60 game. Did a tie game at the half, but I don't think it was really a slow start in particular. I mean, the offense only had the ball for 9 minutes in the first half, and did still score on the first possession. So maybe not as explosive as we would have expected against a defense that is not FBS caliber, but otherwise I thought kind of to be expected early on, and obviously everything got figured out.
Yeah, definitely. You're right. It wasn't as much of a slow start as Alabama just didn't have the ball. And for the whole game, the Citadel held the ball for almost 40 minutes. So when you talk about 40 minutes of a ball game, that's a pretty significant chunk of time. They had 275 yards on the ground. Also, I don't want Bama fans shouldn't go freaking out that they gave up 275 yards on the ground because like we said on Wednesday, this offense is you have to play your assignments on defense. And you saw what happened when guys didn't play their assignments. They gave up the 2 45-plus yard touchdown runs because guys missed assignments. You had Savion Smith trying to play quarterback for some reason. Like,
should never happen.
Corners on the outside never have quarterback. He has pitch man 100%, no matter what. So that was.
But that they're taking risks, they're gambling, and that's what it lulls you to sleep and makes you want to take those chances. But when you do, and they see it, you get burned, and that's just what happens. And yeah, those numbers are high in general, but it's really 2 big runs and a whole bunch of 3-4 yards in a cloud of dust, which again is what the triple option is.
Yeah. So I thought the biggest adjustment coming out into the second half, DJ, was I think that the defense played a lot better position football in the second half. Dylan Moses was flying around making plays all over the field. Mac had a better second half. He takes a bad angle on the one long touchdown run. He was out of position. He hesitated, quarterback pitch, and then the quarterback pitches it and gets the running back's able to get outside of him. So, that was an issue. And then obviously the secondary playing quarterback, which once again should never happen. So I think those were the main adjustments. They played a lot better. They played a lot better assignment football in the second half, to be for certain.
You don't get worried. You don't get worried unless it was a missed tackle fest or a situation where the defense wasn't put in a good position and you're completely fooled. So it sounds kind of weird, but you'd rather be fooled with one guy kind of out of position, a little overzealous or a little reactionary, as opposed to guys that are going the wrong direction, playing fast flow, things like that. And it wasn't, at least it didn't appear to be, a missed tackle fest. So that's where it would be more of a concern going forward against Auburn and certainly against Georgia and beyond. That's where you would start to say, okay, what's going on? I don't think this game does anything like that. I don't think there's much concern at all beyond really health. I thought that was kind of the biggest takeaway, was that Tua looked great, and then there were some new injuries that are worthy of being more concerned about than any type of defensive shortcomings.
Yeah, so an update on the injuries. Damian left the game with a mild concussion, and then Deontay Thompson, they say, is a bruised knee, and they say it's nothing to be concerned about. And
casualty of a triple option team.
He got cut blocked by a running back before people started to say, "Oh, it was a dirty hit." No, he was getting cut, and that's part of the game, part of playing that triple option. Oh, Maryland just took the lead against Ohio State. 45-38.
Biggie.
And,
205 representing out there.
Yeah, there's under 2 minutes left in that game, and they are up 45-38. So,
is that game in Columbus?
Is it in Columbus? That's a good question.
Either way, it's impressive.
Either way, good for it's at Maryland.
Okay.
It's at Maryland. So, DJ asked who we thought were the offensive and defensive MVPs. Tua on offense and
Tua. I mean, 18 of 22 is just stupid.
I mean, 18. He was 10 of 10 in the second half. He threw 3, ran for another. Someone needs to teach him how to slide. I know freaking Alabama.
No, the slide was where he got hurt the first time.
I know, but because he didn't slide the right way. So if someone teaches him how to slide, then get one of the baseball players to teach him how to slide. I don't know. But yeah, Tua's my offensive guy. Probably my defensive guy would be Dylan Moses. I mean, he was all over the field making plays. I feel like he's one of the only ones that really stood out. Quinnen played another good game. He had another almost double digit tackle game again.
Well, you got to shout out the defensive score too.
Yeah. So
Another non-offensive touchdown. Been a while, right?
yeah, it's been a while since that happened. Anthony Jennings picked up a fumble and ran it in, so he could get a nod there. He had a good game too. He played his assignment very well, I thought, for the majority of the game.
Those guys get so stressed in
Yeah,
this
that's
type of game. Playing an outside backer in this set
and the way that
is a nightmare.
yeah,
So, yeah.
and the way that Alabama plays that outside linebacker is that stand up rush defensive, like that outside guy. I mean, that's a tough job because you're literally reading every single play. Like you're having to make a decision every play, and they're hoping that you make that wrong choice one time, and that's where they're
In Alabama's defense, he's the read. He's the read one way, Miller's the read the other way. So that's the guy that everything is predicated off of. That's just it puts you in a bind. It makes you very indecisive because when you're read correctly and the play busts for a big one, now you feel like you're partially responsible, even though you're not. You are literally the design, but it just subconsciously, it's one of those things that's head versus heart. You're in your head, you're like, okay, I'm doing the right thing, but in your heart, you're like, damn, man, every time I go this way, they get a first down or they bust one. Yeah, so it's just mentally a very challenging day. So if anyone deserved it, a defensive touchdown, it would have been Anthony Jennings. So happy for him.
Yeah, no doubt. It was good to see them get another non-offensive touchdown on the board. I thought in the first half the offense played pretty well. Obviously they weren't on the field enough to make a lot of plays. They did get stopped. I'm not real sure why they were running. They're throwing the ball on 3rd and goal from the inside the 5. And they rolled to a right, which makes him throw back across his body. Maybe they should have rolled him left, or maybe they should have just ran the ball. DJ wanted to know how the Hewitt-Thompson game was.
Oh man, great atmosphere. I've been doing this a long time. That's probably a top 2 or 3 atmosphere I've ever been a part of. There was standing room only, and for those who don't know, Thompson literally has a brand new facility that seats a bunch, and it was still standing room only. It's a gorgeous facility, beautiful field. It's well lit for those of us in the media who rely on stuff like that. The PA was going crazy, good music, the bands. It was just kind of a classic Alabama playoff atmosphere, and it was freezing cold as well. So it really felt like we're getting towards the end of the season. But it was just too much Thompson. That backfield of Taulia Tagovailoa and Shadrick Byrd was just too much. It wore down Hewitt-Trussville, which has good players on defense, but not a lot of beef on defense. They're better at the back end. They're better athletically, not necessarily when you punch them straight in the mouth and you go downhill. And Byrd is 5'10", 200 pounds, 210 maybe. He's a D1 back. He's got Vandy. He's got Wake. He was a lot to handle. I really like him, actually. I think he's a bit of a sleeper. I'm surprised the Mississippi States of the world, maybe even Auburn, I'm surprised they haven't kicked the tires on his recruitment a little bit, because I think he's that type of back who wears on you and really fits the SEC style, runs behind his pads, always falls forward. And he was, getting better as the game progressed. So he was wearing on the defense. And then Taulia decided to start pulling it when everyone was collapsing on Byrd. So it was really just too much to handle. And his run in the third quarter pretty much sealed it. They were already up double digits. They created a turnover, and Taulia ran for about 25, and that was kind of it for the game. You just kind of got the sense that was the knockout blow, even though it was the third quarter. And then on the other side, the Hewitt defense played well given the circumstances, but the offense did not. And that's what was most surprising about this game. The Thompson defense deserves a ton of credit. Their secondary played well. They bottled up that passing game. Jalen Warsham, the Bama commit, broke out for one touchdown on a beautiful diving grab that I will make a GIF at some point here soon when I get home. But really, other than that, it was dink and dunk. And that's really not what Hewitt wants to do. They want to lull you to sleep and then go over the top. And Javarius Johnson couldn't shake loose. Paul Tyson was a little off. Probably the worst I've seen him play. And he'll be the first one to tell you that. So not the way he wanted to go out and end his high school career. But I think even if he was a little bit more on target, Thompson was just a better team this year and certainly on this day. So they get the rematch with Hoover now, which was what happened last year. And Hoover knocked them out, went on to win the state championship. I'll tell you what, Thompson barely celebrated last night. They are focused, laser style on the Hoover Bucks, and that's going to be a hell of a game. Hoover blew out Mountain Brook in that semifinal or quarterfinal, excuse me. So I think this game sets up the championship. The winner of this game wins the championship fairly easily, in my opinion. So everybody's eyes should be there next week. If you're in the state, hit up the Hoover Met. That will be a game with a ton of guys, a ton of Iron Bowl guys. And I wouldn't rule out Thompson, man. A week ago, I would have said Hoover's going to cruise to Jordan Hare. But I think Thompson, just the way they looked last night on defense in particular, and Taulia's kind of unstoppable right now. He's running more than we've ever seen, and it's working, and he's running well. I asked him about it after the game, and he laughed. He was like, well, my brother told me I was slow. So Tua told Taulia he was slow after the Hoover game, which is Thompson's only loss this year. So Taulia was like, okay, I'm going to run more. And he focused on it with his dad and his training, and it's now translating on the field, and literally his legs sealed the game against Hewitt both times, because Hewitt, that game on national television, Taulia ran even more wild in that one. So his added dimension, I think, is taking that whole team to a new level. And Thompson has become a ball control, run it down your face offense. And obviously, when they do want to throw it, Taulia's still got the best arm in the state, and he made a couple ridiculous throws. I tweeted one out there in the second half. I mean, on the run, 55 yards in the air on a dime. I mean, we tell people that his arm is stronger than Tua's at the same stage, and you really got to see it last night in a very cold atmosphere. When he did throw it, it was kind of beautiful to see. So he's just too much for anybody right now, which is why I would caution anyone picking Hoover without really digging into the game. So that'll be quite the battle, and I think whoever survives it will hoist the blue trophy in a couple of weeks.
And you said, because somebody asked, and you said that you think that Thompson wins that game?
I'm leaning that way, man. Maybe I'm prisoner of the moment. I have to let the 24-hour rule to get by.
Yeah.
But just the focus of those guys after, because it was a tough game, even though the score made it look like a blowout. This was a tough game. Hewitt is tough to handle. Hewitt has more SEC guys, Power 5 guys than Thompson. So it's tough to keep them bottled down. But just their defense playing that well, I just didn't expect it. The front seven looked good. The back end looked great against Warsham and Javarius Johnson. They picked Paul Tyson 3 times, including once in the end zone. That Hewitt passing attack is more sophisticated than maybe anybody's. So to play that well against them, I think tells you a lot. So it's one thing when you're doing it against Hewitt versus Hoover, because Hoover has a dual threat quarterback and a running back who is a legit Division I guy in Larry McCammon. So it's a little bit of a different dynamic defensively, but they should be playing with the utmost confidence. And they were just so focused after one. I mean, the only person who was celebrating a little bit more than the rest was Taulia, the guy who you would expect to be the most consistent out of everybody. He was the one who was probably the happiest to get that victory. Everyone else was sort of laser focused, including Mark Freeman, the head coach. I mean, he was not doing anything that would suggest that he just advanced to the state semifinal. He is locked in, laser focused. So between him and Josh Niblett, that'll be a great coaching matchup. And obviously they're familiar with one another. They've played, this will be the 4th time in 2 years. So this is about as good as it gets. in the state of Alabama. So I think Thompson's got the edge today, but ask me again in a couple of days.
All right, yeah, we'll make sure we talk about that maybe in the middle of the week sometime. See if you think differently on that one. Good to know. DJ asked, do you think Tyson's overrated?
No, I mean he's about where he should be, in my opinion. He's not a member of the top 247. He is a 4-star guy. And remember, this is about the ceiling. This is about the potential down the road.
Yeah.
And when you look at 6'5", 220 pounds, increasing arm strength, increasing body mass, I mean, he's got a lot of the conventional pro style characteristics. I thought, again, he's usually pretty accurate. You know, he's a 70% type of completion guy. So when he's not like that, it looks really bad. It's just like, think of, and this will sound stupid to some of you, think of Tom Brady when he's off, like the Tennessee game a few weeks ago, right? The Titans put it on him because of how stationary he is and because of how his arm doesn't wow you like Taulia's. It's not looking – when it's not good, it looks bad. It looks really bad, frankly. So I just think that's kind of the dynamic there. So you don't want to overreact one way or the other. Paul's put in a great career, great senior year. He didn't want to go out that way for sure, but I think he's rated about the right way. He's somewhere top 400 players in America. I think it's about right, around top 20 among quarterbacks. I think all of that is pretty much on target. I think anybody who would have made the case that he's the best in the state or in Birmingham, that would have been a little bit much, but I don't think many are doing that at this point. And I think that's kind of how it played out yesterday. So I think he's rated about right. He's not a top 247 guy, but he does still have a lot of upside. Remember, he's not as experienced as people think. He's a 2-year varsity starter at the 7A level, and that's kind of it. You know, he was a late bloomer as a quarterback and as a prospect as well. So this isn't a Bo Nix or even a Taulia or a Tua, guys who were 4-year starters at the high school level, always had that buzz around them. That was not Paul. So he's still kind of in the first couple of stages of his quarterback evolution. So we tend to give kids like that the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. One quick thing. I want to – whoever runs the Citadel's Twitter account needs a shout out.
Shout out to them. Oh, my God.
Shout out to whoever runs that, because not only did they – when they scored, they tweeted at LSU and they tweeted at Mississippi State talking about we scored, it's not that hard. But
Phenomenal.
Then once they scored more, then they started tweeting. They tweeted Old Miss and said we scored more than Old Miss. They just tweeted well, not just tweeted, but then they tweeted at UCF asking if they could claim the Natty too.
Oh my God, I didn't see that.
So whoever runs the Citadel Twitter account, they need a raise.
That's how it should be, man. I mean, look, this is a game that nobody took seriously, including us, and you know you gotta have fun with it. You gotta have fun with it. It's a game, man. It's a serious game, and we all care so much about it. And heck, it pays my bills. But at the end of the day, it is a game, and when it's literally David versus Goliath, and David's got a pretty good couple of quarters going, you should be bragging. You should be peacocking to the world, man. I'm surprised they didn't tweet Trump.
I just like the fact that they started out the week. They started out the week with the tweet, with the video, with the nerd kid in the helmet talking about, we want Bama. They started it early and they went with it the whole week, and I respect them for that. You're going into a game where you're playing a game for pretty much for athletic department money. Like,
man,
that's what
they got paid and they had some fun doing it.
Yeah, so they put up 17 points, and they had a couple big runs. They got to tweet at some SEC teams that haven't been able to score in the last 2 weeks against Alabama. So I mean, hats off to the Bulldogs. I thought they had a very good game plan. They stuck to their game plan, and they got them 17 points, and they were able to make fun of some SEC teams in the process. So.
What would Vegas handicap them against Ole Miss for? I mean,
like, what would the spread be?
I don't know what the spread would be. I'm saying they'd score
they'd score.
They get into the 20s, maybe the 30s against Ole Miss.
They'd score lots of points against Ole Miss because
they might pick them off. Honestly,
they
might be able to clip them.
Yeah, I mean, let's not.
South Carolina.
They beat South Carolina, and that South Carolina team is pretty much the same thing as that Ole Miss team right now. I mean, that South Carolina team didn't have a defense, and neither does Ole Miss. Like they have a negative defense. Like whatever they came up with the land shark, and this has been the worst defense to try and clean.
It's literally a shark on land dying.
Yeah, like it's literally a dying land shark right now because they are just awful. And they said that the Citadel people that were there also today were pretty lit, and good for them. But yeah, they beat that South Carolina team. That South Carolina team not good either. I'd probably let's see. They probably scored 35 against Ole Miss. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't want to. I'd say 35, a solid 35, because that. Let me pull up and see just how many yards of offense that Ole Miss team is allowing on the ground every game, and then we'll make a.
Alabama did whatever it wanted against Ole Miss.
Yeah, and then they just ran for 275 on like one of the best defenses in the country. So let's see just real quick what the Ole Miss is going on. But while I'm looking that up,
no, but like you say, man, good for the Citadel, good for their recruiting, and look, they're military kids. They're going to be defending our freedom, so you're not allowed to get mad at them. So
yeah, hats off.
Anybody is? I don't know if anybody is, but you should.
I don't think anybody's mad. There was much respect between the Citadel players and the Alabama players. Yes, there was I saw the shot that they took it on Quinnen, but if you look at that kid, Quinnen, don't stand around the pile. Someone had to have told you that from the time you were knee high. That's rule number
101 right there.
You don't stand around the pile. I'm not saying that a cheap shot is okay. I'm just saying don't stand around the pile. You got your clock cleaned. But then if you watch, the kid goes to pick him up, goes to help him up off the ground. And
it's not like he went low or anything. That would have been dirty. But
that's the kind of kids that you have.
I'd have done the same thing.
Oh yeah, I'd have done the exact same thing.
Yeah, I mean, when you deal with triple option O linemen are like the epitome of those guys. So you gotta, even if you weren't already thinking that in general, because you're Alabama and people want to knock you down, with those offensive lines in particular, you have to have that mindset. And now he'll tell his grandkids, hey, that guy went in the first round and played 10 years in the NFL, knocked him on his ass.
Oh yeah, it
happened.
It's a great thing for him because now you got a story to tell for the rest of your life, and not only that, but
just like the dude who got hurdled. Hey, I got hurdled.
Oh, I got hurdled by a first round draft pick. All right, so they're giving up 215 a game. Citadel's running for 250 EV.
I'll go 3.
Even okay. I'll go with you on 3. I'll go with you. I think that's a very easy, attainable goal for them.
275 on Bama, so I mean they're 275 yards better defensively than Ole Miss.
Oh yeah. Oh, I said 250. I meant 350. Sorry.
I'll 350.
That's going on you about 350. Let's see. Okay, so somebody's asking, is Taulia solid?
Yeah, he's committed.
Yeah.
His words to me were he is 100% committed. Now, in this day and age of recruiting, what does that mean? I don't know. But, again, I've never come off of, do I think he'll be at Alabama? I've always been at the yes point, and I'm still there after talking to him and seeing him once again. He did say that he's still making the decision and he's going to pray about it like he would anyway, even if we didn't ask him.
Yeah.
So yeah, Georgia, Ole Miss, LSU, Tennessee, technically still in it, yeah. But I really, I don't feel any differently from 24 hours ago to right now after talking to him. Still the same boat. Very likely to end up at Alabama. Very tough to get away from that environment. LSU is still really the only true threat, but the severity of that threat is nothing to refresh your Twitter about every day. I don't think.
Yeah.
Now, if he takes the official visit, maybe, but I don't even know if it'll get to that point because he's got first of all, as I bask in the win that they just had, I'm predicting them to go to the state championship, which means that's pretty much he's occupied for the next couple of weeks. And then right after that, literally the next Monday, the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star Week begins, and that game is on a Saturday. So that takes out one whole visit week for these kids. And remember, Taulia signing December 19th. So there's really no room for him to take more than one visit if he does. So if he does decide to take it, which I don't think is a guarantee, and if it's to LSU, maybe you worry just a little bit more, but that's a lot to kind of work your way towards. You would almost think that if he does take a visit at that little window, it would be towards Georgia or Ole Miss or one of these other schools that are in it, Tennessee, since he's visited LSU unofficially. So I don't really feel too differently about Taulia. I expect him to sign with Alabama December 19th. But again, Tua did the same thing here. Tua at the end was kind of looking around a little bit. He was just curious. They wanted to be sure they're thorough. So if they were still unsure at any point with Tua, you knew they were going to be extra due diligent with Taulia. So I think really that's all this is.
That's what I kind of figured, but I just wanted to hear it from somebody who's gotten to speak with him here recently.
How funny is that Tua was just like, bro, you're slow.
I mean, that's a great story. Like, you're slow. Like, yeah, your big brother says, "Oh, you're slow," and that possesses you to try running a little bit more in games.
Yeah,
and you saw, I mean, even in the televised game the first time, he was running. He was running all over that defense the first time they played too. So
yeah, if he runs like that again, I think they get Hoover.
Yeah. All right. Well,
anything else from this game? What about Jalen, man? How did he look to you?
Jalen looked good. I thought, he definitely Senator Hurts. Yeah, if you haven't, go look at that. Go read that story on Crimson and Blue Chips about Jalen being a senator. No, I thought Jalen he didn't look 100% in my opinion. He looked about 89, 90% maybe. But it was enough to get him out there. He threw a touchdown pass while on the run, touchdown pass. And then after that, they got Mac in there for a little bit more time for Mac. I was hoping Mac was going to pull it and score, but I always hope Mac's going to pull it and score. But then I always get disappointed, and he never pulls it. But no, Jalen looked good. I think that's a good sign going into the Iron Bowl and the SEC title game in case, heaven forbid, knock on wood, something happens to Tua again. Jalen looks like he's finally back and ready to be able to play the backup quarterback role for Tua.
Right.
The only other injury coming out of the game that we didn't mention before, which is a little more unnerving than the first two, Damian Harris's concussion and Deontay Thompson's bruised knee, is Alex Leatherwood, they're saying, is a sprained ankle. Which
that's worrisome for sure.
That could be worrisome moving forward. I think Lashley I think Lashley came in and played right guard in his after Leatherwood.
They do have depth on the O-line though. I mean, with
there's that
can come in.
Yeah, they said Deontay Brown dressed today, but he didn't play. So that was at least he dressed. I don't know how.
Yeah, So if he's healthy next week, then he can play left guard. Between Cotton, Lashley,
Casher.
I mean, maybe even Matt Womack. You could kick Jedrick
Womack
Wills inside maybe and let Womack play right tackle. I mean,
Yeah.
there are plenty of options. So if there's an injury positionally where it doesn't freak you out,
O-line
as long as it's not Jonah Williams, it would be the O-line.
Yeah, O-line's definitely the deepest position out there, maybe besides running back. But yeah, I think you can find a combination of 5 that isn't gonna hurt you. Womack played a lot at right tackle. Womack played a lot today. I did see him. Lashley played. Casher played. Lester obviously played in place with Deontay Brown. So we'll see going into this week. Let's see if Deontay is practicing. If he is, you move him to right. You keep him at left. Put Cotton at right. You'll find a way to make it work. Coach Key will find him a group of 5 that he can put out there because there's about 7 or 8 of them at any given point. I feel like could go out there and play. So
yeah. Speaking of Coach Key, really quickly.
Yes.
A guy who did go out the right way, even though it was his last high school game, Pierce Quick.
You told me. Please tell let the audience know the Pierce Quick stories because Pierce Quick gets a lot of. There's gotten a lot of questions about Pierce Quick and Pierce Quick's his mentality on the field. Is he really that? You get a lot of. Is he really that good? Is he the best?
I think with Pierce, he looks like he should be this footwork, finesse, pass blocking specialist because of how he looks. And 6'5", 285 or so. Yeah. But he actually doesn't play like that. He's not that. He's a raw pass protector. He is a mauling run blocker who is super athletic. And that's, again, when we call an offensive lineman athletic, it makes you naturally think, okay, he's going to be very well suited to pass protect. And that's not necessarily always the case. If anything, aggression and athleticism makes you move a little bit more, so it inhibits your patience as a pass protector, which is why I think Amari Kite is the better tackle candidate and really the only left tackle candidate between the two at the next level. Pierce Quick is a downhill, get him on the move, let him wear on you type of guy, and he wore out Thompson's right side last night. It didn't show up in the scoreboard. It rarely does.
It never will.
He was as nasty as I've ever seen. One completion that was not flagged. Pierce Quick was about 15 yards down the field, just pinning a dude with his legs. Like the dude was just squirming, trying to get up, and Pierce was just like laughing on top of him. I mean, that's Pierce Quick in a nutshell. He might get you a penalty every now and then, but overly aggressive, physical, very good with his leverage, and he wants to get guys on their tail, and he does more times than not. So he definitely looked the part and played the part for his last high school game. He didn't go out like Black Gallagher. Like he was ready to go. Pierce Quick, overly aggressive, and just he is who he is at this point. He's going to need a year or two to develop physically, to strengthen his upper body. Remember, he had that labrum injury. So he needs to strengthen his entire upper body and obviously fill out closer to 300 pounds. But he needs technical work as well as a pass protector. Just because he's athletic and light on his feet doesn't mean he is a polished pass protector. So I think that perception has hurt the thoughts of him as a pass protector. But that's not necessarily who he is at this point. But with a redshirt year, I think he could be ready to go in a couple of years, and he will be, when we look back at this class, he will be among the best in this group, and that's why he is, one of the highest rated right now.
Yeah, and I'm one of those that looks at Pierce and I'm just like, he's a pretty boy. And that's my fault. After watching him in the 3 televised games that I've gotten to, or the 2 televised, and then I've watched a couple more on the Husky Fast network. He is that like you said, he's a mauler, and he doesn't look like that kind of kid. Like, it's funny.
Yeah, he's long, lean, You know,
Yeah, usually
clean cut.
exactly. Usually your maulers are, they're kind of shorter, stockier. They like to grow the high school kind of scraggly neck beard type
Yeah,
thing.
just beard wherever you can get it.
Yeah, and they they go out and they maul kids, but Pierce is your more, oh, look at me, but he's he goes out and he plays. I give it to him. I saw
He'd actually be great on triple option.
Oh yeah, if they
really great.
Yeah, I did see the one picture. There was somebody got a great picture. A defender for Thompson's jumping to knock a ball down, and you can see Pierce's helmet is in his stomach, and you can see like the face of the defender like immediately regretting this decision because he knows that he's getting ready to get put on his back. And dang, Maryland went for 2 and lost. Dang.
Oh no.
Dang.
Oh man. Ohio State survives and sets up that matchup with Michigan.
So now the Big Ten championship means something again.
Yeah.
But
that's next week, right?
Is it? Yeah. Rivalry week's next week, so yeah.
Yeah.
You got Michigan, Ohio State next week. And
pretty big one in the state of Alabama.
Yep. You got the Iron Bowl. Good Lord. Some of these games today.
Auburn's got to survive Buckshot Calvert first, though.
Oh, let's go Liberty! Like if y'all haven't, like if you don't know, now you know. Watch Liberty.
Fun quarterback, man.
They got a kid from Miami, Florida, slinging the rock. He's a gunslinger. He comes from Carroll City High School, one of the storied programs in Florida, and he slings the rock. His teammates call him Buckshot, and he does. He goes out there like a shotgun, and he's throwing things everywhere. So check out that. That's why I'm not 100% sold on the Auburn spread, because I think Buckshot and the Liberty Flames give them some problems today.
Yeah, Liberty had a couple coaches at the game last night at Thompson, so they recruit Alabama pretty consistently. So this is a big game for them to have a good showing. They're gonna win it, but if they could have a showing similar to what the Citadel did today, I think that'll go a long way for them getting second, third tier prospects in the state of Alabama, which is a ever popular state for recruiting. So shout out to Liberty, man. Keep recruiting these Yellowhammers, Flames.
Yeah, they do a good job. They do a good job recruiting. They get kids out of Florida, they get kids out of Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina. It's a neat little area where that college is located there in Lynchburg, about an hour north of where we went to school.
A little nicer.
Yeah, a little bit nicer than our school. So nothing against Averett, but so yeah. How about this? Penn State only scored 20 points against Rutgers.
Oh, baby.
It was 20-7. And
that score sounds like that was about the worst game in television history to watch.
That's not a good look.
Glad I did it.
McSorley threw for 183 and 2 touchdowns, but the Rutgers running back had over 100 yards on that defense. Like, might be in trouble.
Yeah, what that was. When you talk about the biggest disappointments of the year in terms of a team, Penn State is right up there with Auburn.
Got to be up there.
Washington. Right. They're way up there. So
Wisconsin. Wisconsin. Oh yeah. How about Mississippi State turning the tide turning over a new leaf, and they beat Arkansas 52-6.
How about that? Good for their offense. Their defense is like, hey, we've been doing this, but good for their offense, because it was pretty much just ugly the last few weeks for them offensively. So good for old Nick Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald threw 4 touchdowns.
Wow.
With only 127 yards.
The only defense who could compete with the Ole Miss defense in the basement is Arkansas, and this pretty much validates that.
Yeah, that's because that Mississippi offense did not look at all, hasn't looked good all year, let alone last week where they got shut out. They haven't looked good all year. So, real quick, I'll just kind of go through some of the games that are going on right now, and then we'll wrap this up. We wanted to come to you again today because we've come to you after every game. And just because John's on the road doesn't mean that we can't get on here and still bring you a show.
Yeah, shout out to Producer Kev for running the show today. My audio's not perfect. I apologize.
That's what me and Dave are here for. We couldn't get Dave on today. He had other things going on with work and stuff. But so yeah, just because he wasn't here, still putting on a show for you guys. We still love you guys. If you haven't already, check out the website crimsonandbluechips.com. Lots of good stuff. Got about 70 articles, pieces of content on there. If you want to keep up, we got some good stuff for if you want to keep up with recruiting in the state of Alabama. Check out our Dex Prep blog. It's kind of more for the sleeper kids in Alabama. And our guy Dexter Taulia does a really good job with that. Go check his stuff out. You can follow.
Yeah, like if you love ball, period. Yeah. Dexter Tolbert's the man in the state of Alabama.
Go check him out.
I've known him for a long time. He just loves ball, and he loves seeing kids succeed no matter where they go. So if you're into kind of the non-traditional recruiting stories, new names, and just kind of discovering kids, definitely follow Dex. He does a phenomenal job. Does it for the right reasons as well.
Yeah. So a lot of he's one of these guys that, a lot of people in the recruiting industry, they look over the 3-star kids and the kids that aren't necessarily getting Division I offers. They might be getting some D2 and D3 love and stuff like that. But Dexter, he gets those kids' names out there. He's writing the Dex Prep blog for us on our website now. It's updated pretty much on in real time as he gets
every day.
As he gets news every day, he's updating the blog. So there could be entries at 9:30 in the morning, but then there's going to be entries again at 10, 12. I mean, there's multiple entries every day he has. So go check that out. And then once again, follow us on social media at Crimson and Blue Chips on Facebook, CABC Pod on Gmail, and CABC Pod on Twitter. If you haven't already, subscribe and hit the bell notification so you get notifications when we go live and when we post other videos. You can check out the Dave and Kev's eval show where we did Alfano last week. Here on YouTube, there's a story on Crimson and Blue Chips for it. And, we appreciate you guys stopping by for today. I know probably a lot of people might not have been watching this game just because it was Citadel, but we appreciate you guys for stopping by. And once again, we'll be back. So we'll be back at some point next week, doing at least a show during the week. We'll probably do.
Oh, it's Iron Bowl week. We might do a show every damn day.
So there you go. It's Iron Bowl week. So you guys go get ready for Iron Bowl. We're gonna get ready for the Iron Bowl, and we'll see you guys at some point, probably early on next week. So you guys take care and have a good rest of your weekend, guys. Thanks for stopping by. For John, this is Producer Kev, and we're out of here today.